Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you enjoyed Christmas. If you
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Okay, that's not good. Okay. 1 minute.
It's still the starting music.
There is going to be a delay, Bri.
Sorry?
There's going to be a delay in what you see on your phone.
Yeah.
As to what's happening, what you can hear
Oh,
in the
okay.
room. So
all right.
that's why that's happening. Hi everybody. So my husband Brian is in the room with me, and he is going to be joining me in a minute. Hopefully you can hear me, but I'm just going to make sure. Okay, check testing 1 2. Yeah, I can see that you're hearing something. Ed, if you can hear me, can just hear me. Okay, thank you, Ed. I will try and turn it up a bit. Hold on a sec. I'll turn it up there a bit, and I can turn it up here as well. Okay. There we are. So that should be a fair bit louder now. Can you hear me now, Ed? Oops. You might be able to hear me and not see me. Let me just get into the middle of the frame a little bit. Okay, can't see anything from Ed just yet. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me move the microphone closer. That'll certainly help. Okay, so it looks like we've got 5 watching. So that's Ed, me, Brian, and 2 others. So hello to whoever the other 2 are. If you want to chat, then you need to be subscribed for 5 minutes, and then you'll be able to. So we're going to be doing a quiz night. It's maybe not the kind of quiz that you're thinking of, though. You don't need to have lots of general sort of trivia knowledge necessarily. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing this. Hang on, can you see that? Hopefully that's the right way round for you to see it. Without a doubt, that's the name of the game. And basically, you're going to be presented with 2 equally plausible factoids, and you have to. You can hear and see me, Ed. Great, good to know that. Thank you. Slow mode should be on, Ed, but if it's not, I can't actually get into that and turn that on at this point. So, fingers crossed, let's hope it's on. And there should be some basic automatic moderation as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could you possibly speak up a bit? Because I'm having to go with that version of you rather than this one, so I'm in sync with you.
Okay, I will try and speak up a bit so that Brian can hear me, because he's confused by hearing 2 different versions. I don't know how much of that you could hear on the mic, because there's a significant delay with YouTube. So yeah, what was I saying? So housekeeping. We've got some basic moderation that should be going on automatically. But if that doesn't work, I can just boot people off. So please be nice to everybody and respectful of everybody. Otherwise you'll get booted out. You're right. So back to the what we're doing here, without a doubt. Okay. So you're going to get presented with 2 factoids that seem reasonably plausible, and you have to decide which one you think is the correct one. Ed's just saying slow mode is on. That's great. Okay. we can hear all the Bri, we can hear all the as you're moving about the tinsel, just so you know. Yeah. Slow mode is on. What was I saying? So yeah, we just have to decide which of the 2 on the card is the correct thing. So I'm going to give you an example, but we don't have to. We're not going to do this one. Hold on. So as an example, what is taller? An average 2-story house or an average adult giraffe? And I know the answer to this one. What do you think it is, Bri?
I think it's an average 2-story house.
An average 2-story house, Brian says. Yes, an average 2-storey house is roughly 40% taller than an average adult giraffe. We have seen giraffes in person, haven't we, Bri?
We have.
At the Yorkshire Wildlife Park, so
Indeed.
that helps. Okay, but that was just an example. We weren't playing for real at that point. I am just going to switch to the other screen. So now we can see Brian as well as hear him. So hopefully you can now see Brian, who is looking at his phone because he's following the comments and stuff. And you could already hear him, hopefully, as well. Hopefully you can still hear me at this point, now that we've switched onto this. Okay. So I think we should get started, really, but I'm just going to quickly go over the rules of the game. And it's very simple. So as I've said, you're going to get two things, equally sort of plausible things, and you've got to decide which is correct. And if you get it right, you score a point. Keep track of your own points, please. And if you don't get it right, then nothing happens. You don't get any points. But if you are super, super confident, then me and Brian can play our without a doubt cards. We can hold these up. But if those of you in the comments are super confident, you can just write in what you think is the answer, and you can say without a doubt, or you can just say super confident, or whatever you want to say. And the point of doing this is that if you play your without a doubt card and you get it right, then you get 2 points instead of 1. But if you get it wrong and you've played your without a doubt card, you're going to get -2 points. So it's a bit of a risk. Right, well, let's try the first thing then. The first question, first cab off the rank. Just see how many people we've got currently viewing. We've got 4, as far as I can tell. So that's me, Brian, Ed, and one other. So hello to the other, and hello to everyone else. And everyone that is watching back later, of course. So first question. Who is richer? The king or the surviving members of the band Queen? What do you think, Brian?
I think it's the surviving members of the band.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because the king's got all those...
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, he's got all that property and stuff. But then again, some of it some of it is now William's. Because there was what do they call it? The Prince of Wales stuff. Some of it's gone to William now, so he'll be... But... the king has had years and years of reaping the benefits from all that property and stuff. So I don't know. It's a really tough one, that. So what did you say, Brian?
Well, I said I thought it was the surviving members of Queen, but I don't think that anymore.
Okay, so you now think it's the king?
I think it's the king.
You think it's the king? Okay.
As opposed to the Queen.
Well, I'll go with the other one then. I'll say it's the surviving members of the band Queen, and we'll see what it is. Let's turn over the card, and I'm just going to make sure I'm not reading the other answers as well. Okay, it says the king. Oh, what are you doing, bro? The king, worth an estimated $600 million, don't know why it's in dollars, is more than $100 million wealthier than the surviving members of Queen. So Brian got it right, but only because I kind of nudged him in that direction, really. Okay, so 1 point for Brian. None for me. What about you, Ed? What did you think it was, if you're still there? Anyone else in the questions?
Who else is here then, apart from Ed?
The only person I can see typing at the moment is Ed. But that doesn't mean that nobody else is here. There might be some people watching, but not typing. Either
Jo's
because...
just called me and said she can't get into the quiz.
Okay, just one moment. I actually can't help her because my phone is is videoing you, Brian.
If I send her a link,
Can
send.
you send her a link?
Yeah.
Okay, and tell her she needs to be subscribed.
Okay.
Okay, I've got an answer from Ed. So Ed thinks it's the surviving members of the band Queen. You must have typed that a while back because I've said the answer since then, and the answer is the King, not Queen. So no points for you, Adam, this time, I'm afraid. But I think that was a really tough one. Let's hope the next one is a bit easier. Okay. What has a faster top speed? Usain Bolt, that's him at his peak, or a domestic cat?
A domestic cat.
You think a domestic cat?
Mm.
Which do I think? Usain Bolt at his peak or a domestic cat? Which is faster? I feel like they can't be that far off. But I'll go with Usain Bolt as well. Okay, so we're both going with the same answer this time. Ed, are you there? Do you know, or anyone else in the question in the chat? Just in case anyone's just come in, if you want to chat, join in with a live chat, and you want to answer, you have to be subscribed. Oh, Mighty Cat Mods, hello. You think cat every time. Okay. So,
Joe's just got back to me.
Okay.
She says she is subscribed, so I've just sent her the link, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. I can't really help her much because I can't help her at all because I haven't got my phone. It's just someone struggling who's been invited who's struggling to get in there. Okay, so Mighty Cat Mods says cat every time. I've said Usain Bolt, but I'm not sure, to be honest. And Brian also says Usain Bolt. Let's find out the answer. Domestic cats can reach speeds of 30 miles an hour, faster than Usain Bolt's peak of 27 miles an hour. So there's not much in it, but it is the cat that is faster. Okay, well, Mighty Cat Mods, you got it right that time. So you get a point. Keep track of your points. You get 1 point this time. And we didn't hear from Ed. I think Ed is walking his dog at the moment, so he might be a bit distracted. Okay, next question. I'm just going to have a sip of my non-alcoholic mulled wine that my parents left at my house. That's nice. Okay. Oh, Mighty Cat Mod says Rupert the Rocket. Quite, pardon me. Quite possibly. So Rupert would be faster than Usain Bolt. That's amazing. What kills more people each year? Shark attacks or lightning? Shark attacks or lightning?
I would say shark attacks.
I think it's lightning. I just don't think that sharks and people come into contact that often. But I'm not super confident on that.
No, I'm not confident either. I think it's about 10 people a year are had by sharks. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be wrong.
Right. Whereas there's lots of storms, but again, it's like how often does the lightning come into contact with a person? Of course, it's all around the world, so I don't know. I'm not confident, is what I'll say. So the question again, if anyone's just joined us, is what kills more people each year? Shark attacks or lightning? If you get it right, you get a point. If you don't get it right, you get no points. I can't see anyone answering in the comments this time. I'll just give you a sec to see if anyone wants to type in their answer. Let me just see if I can put a really quiet little bit of background music on. Okay, yeah, nice little bit of background music there. That is Ipanema Daydream. I forget who it's by. But anyway. So Mighty Cat Mods says I would guess lightning. So did I. So 2 for lightning and 1 for shark attacks. Okay, let's find out what the answer is. The answer is lightning.
Brilliant.
Yay, point for me. No points for Brian. And also a point for Mighty Cat Mods. Okay. Oh, don't want to read the next answer. Okay. Next question. What are there more of in the US? Museums or Starbucks? I'm going to go with Starbucks. Definitely
Definitely
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, if it's anything like it is here in the UK, I mean, there's several of them in every town, whereas there's maybe one museum.
I think there's more Starbucks than there are people.
What do you think? More Starbucks than people? I'm not sure I would agree with that one. In fact, I am so confident with this one. I'm going to play my without a doubt card. So I'm going to risk losing 2 points. But I could get 2 points if I'm right. So, yeah, I'm going to play that one. Are you going to play your card, Brian?
No.
You're not going to play your card. He's not going to take the risk. Okay. So Ed says I'll be with you properly in about half an hour. That's great, Ed. I will see you then. Oh, why is that music not... it's not looping. Let me just sort that one out. Yeah, we want you to loop. Okay. So the question for anyone that's just come in is, what are there more of in the US, museums or Starbucks? And I have gone with Starbucks, and I've played my very confident card without a doubt. But Brian has not, but he has said the same thing, which is Starbucks. Anyone have a different answer? Anyone in the comments? Nobody in the comments. Okay. Oh, wow. Apparently there are 35,000 museums in the US. More than double the number of Starbucks.
Wow.
I would never have guessed that. We don't have that here in the UK. It must be different over there, I guess. 35,000. But then again, they tend to charge, don't they? They tend to have a lot of museums where they can charge admission. Whereas museums in the UK tend to be, like, you can obviously donate, but they tend to be free to get in. And I don't know if that's different. I'm sure I've heard of there being museums in the US where you have to pay to get in. So it's more of a business rather than something that, you know, tries to get funding from the government and tries to get, you know, donations and charitable stuff. So I guess maybe that's the difference. Okay, so I've lost 2 points. Okay, well, I had 1. I don't have that anymore. And I now have -1. Brian doesn't lose a point because he didn't play his card. Okay, Mighty Cat Mod said they're passing on that one, which I think you were probably wise to do. Okay. Should we have a different song? Let's turn that one off. Yeah, I like this song. It's all stuff. The songs are all from... well, some of them are kazoo Christmas ones that I've done. But these ones that you're hearing at the moment are from the YouTube audio library. So they're all... you can play them on YouTube and you won't get a copyright strike or anything. So I'm just going to make sure that this piece is going to loop.
Brilliant.
What are you brillianting at?
Museum of Spanners. Fantastic.
I didn't see that comment. I reckon every tiny place has a museum of spanners or something. That's really interesting. We just don't have that here. We have maybe one museum in every... Well, the big cities like London will have several museums. But most cities or towns will have one museum. Anyway. Okay, on to the next question. Okay, how many different colours can a standard computer or smartphone screen display? 16,600 or 16.6 million? They both seem high to me.
I'd say 16,000.
Okay, so, well, yeah, 16,600, but...
Sorry, 1600, yeah.
It's thousands. It's
Sorry,
16,600 or 16.6 million. Okay. Nobody in the comments so far, but there is a bit of a delay, so give them a little bit of time. I'll just have a little dance. Brian can't hear the music because he's trying not to listen to on his headphones because it's happening at a different time. So he's looking at me, bopping around, and he's going, "What you doing?" Anyway, anyone in the comments? Nope, nobody in the comments so far. Again, you might have typed it, but I can't see it yet. Okay, so to repeat the question, how many different colours can a standard computer or smartphone screen display? 16,600 or 16.6 million? And Bri, you went with the thousands, didn't you? Okay. I think I will as well. I think I'll go with 16,600. But I'm not confident. I feel like I could be wrong. Josephine Copley has joined us. Hello. I'm glad you made it. So the question we're currently doing is how many different colours can a standard computer or smartphone screen display? And the possible answers are 16,600 or 16.6 million. So Brian has guessed the thousands. Mighty Cat Mods has also said 16,600. Brian is just typing a hello to Joe. Joe's a good friend of ours. Yeah, so I'm going with the thousands as well. So let's have a look at the answer. We're all wrong. All of us were all wrong. Wow. It is 16.6 million. Wow. Standard screens can show 255 different intensities. That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking it was 250 something. And that's why I was thinking it seemed really high when I was thinking 16,000 or million? What? Okay, so standard screens can show 255 different intensities of red, green and blue, which can be combined to make 255 times 255 times 255 different colours. And yet the eye can perceive 7. Well, I mean, lots of different shades and hues and stuff and values, but why do we need that many? Josephine Copley also says 16,000 as well, whereas it is in fact 16.6 million. So no points for Joe, I'm afraid. No points for Mighty Cat Mods. No points for me, and no points for Brian. Do keep a track of your own points, Josephine. So you get a point if you get a question right. If you get a question wrong, you just don't get any points. If you answer a question and you're super confident, then tell us that, because you're taking a risk. If you're super confident, which in my case would mean holding up one of these cards, and Brian's got one too, then that would mean you'd get 2 points if you get it right, but you'd lose 2 points if you get it wrong. So it's a big risk. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. So I will put that... Oh, don't know what... Oh, Brian's disappearing. Okay. Okay. So the next question is... A translation error meant that KF... Oh, sorry, I'm... Lots of plosives there. Sorry. I'm trying to be loud enough, but also not go into the mic. A translation error meant that KFC launched in China with what catchphrase? This is hilarious. Okay. A translation error meant that KFC launched in China with what catchphrase? The options are, we'll eat your fingers off, or so hungry you could eat a baby. A translation error meant that KFC launched in China with what catchphrase? We'll eat your fingers off, or so hungry you could eat a baby. Brian's disappeared. He's left me. He's just gone to the bathroom or something. So I'm here to just, I've got to think about it myself. Which would it be? So hungry you could eat a baby, or we'll eat your fingers off? I think it's we'll eat your fingers off. I don't think anyone could mistranslate that second one, surely. Because how would the baby come into it? I mean, if it was a horse, then sure. But a baby? Okay, so Mighty Cat Mods says, we'll eat your fingers off. Probably. So you're not super confident on that one. I'm not going to play my confident card either, but I'm going to guess we'll eat your fingers off. And Brian isn't here, so he just doesn't get a point anyway. Right, so let's turn the card over and we'll see what it says. Aha! I was right, and so are you, Mighty Cat Mods. Don't forget, Josephine or anyone else that's here, do type in what you think the answers are as we go along. So, KFC ran adverts with the catchy sales pitch, we'll eat your fingers off, instead of finger licking good. Oh, that's where it comes from. So it's supposed to be finger licking good, and it was mistranslated as we'll eat your fingers off. Okay. So I get a point then. And I was on -1 because I played a confident card and I was wrong. So I'm now on 0. Back to 0. Okay. Point for you, Mighty Cat... Pardon me. Point for you, Mighty Cat Mods. Right, next question. Just really enjoying that music. I don't know if it's going to loop. Is it going to loop? Yes. Yeah. I'm going to miss a question because I've just accidentally read the answer on the other side. Just trying to position myself so you can see me. Hang on. Because I keep leaning into the mic and then you can't see me as much. Okay. Let me move that up a bit. Sorry about this. Stay. Okay. So I'm missing out the question that I know the answer to. Right. Which is taller? The tallest tree in the world or the Eiffel Tower? So which is taller? The tallest tree in the world or the Eiffel Tower? Both got to be pretty tall, right? The tallest tree. I wonder which tree is the tallest tree in the world. Does anyone know? I'm kind of thinking Californian redwood or something, but I don't know where I'm pulling that from. I'm just seeing Josephine's answer, so hungry. I don't know if, there is a bit of a delay, but I don't think there's that much of a delay. So I'm wondering, Josephine, if you might be watching a little bit behind. Just have a look at that red line that's on your screen and just make sure it's all the way to the right. And if it's not, then grab it and move it all the way to the right so that you're watching at the same time as everybody else. There is still a delay of, 10 seconds or 15 seconds or something like that. Okay. So yeah, we are on the... Hang on. Yeah. The question, which is taller, the tallest tree in the world or the Eiffel Tower? Anyone got any ideas? I am leaning towards thinking it might be the tree and not the Eiffel Tower, but I've never been to the Eiffel Tower and never seen it in person, and it's kind of hard to tell from pictures. Obviously it's very tall, but I still feel like there might be trees that are taller. I don't know. Mighty Cat Mods thinks that it's the tallest tree. I hope you're not Googling these, Mighty Cat Mods. Google is not allowed. Okay. Oh, Brian is back just in time to get his answer to this one. So, Brian, what do you think is taller?
Smaller.
Taller?
Yeah.
Which do you think is taller? The tallest tree in the world or the Eiffel Tower?
The Eiffel Tower.
Brian thinks the Eiffel Tower. I think the tallest tree. And Mighty Cat Mods also says the tallest tree. I'm not seeing any other answers just yet. We can have a little bit of a boogie. See if any other answers come in. We can do the spell hands. Yeah. Mighty Cat Mods says no, I'm guessing. Good. Good to know. Good to know. No Googling allowed. Okay. So I'm going with the tallest tree. Mighty Cat Mods is also going with the tallest tree, and Brian is going with the Eiffel Tower. But I am going to say that I'm not confident. And the answer is the Eiffel Tower. You were right, Brian. Brian has another point, bringing Brian's total to 2. And my total to 0 because I played a confident card and I got it wrong. I've only scraped it back to 0 so far. I don't know how many points you're on, Mighty Cat Mods, but I have a feeling you might be neck and neck with Brian. Right. Okay. Ooh, interesting one. Okay. Let's have a different song. Let me just stop that one from looping again. Yeah, too late. It's looping. We'll turn it off and we'll choose a different one. Oh, that's really loud. Let's turn that one down. There we go. Nice and quiet. Nice and quiet. Nice bit of jazz. Mighty Cat Mods has 3 points, which puts Mighty Cat Mods in the lead at the moment. Brian, you're not winning.
Sorry?
And I'm definitely not winning. Mighty Cat Mods is in the lead at the moment.
Good.
But you're not far behind Mighty Cat Mods with 2. Okay, the Beatles barber, that's the barber of the Beatles, kept some of John Lennon's hair and sold it at auction. Did it sell for more than 500,000 or less than 500,000?
Less.
Okay, Brian's going with less. I'm going to go with more. I'm just going to go with more just to be different. I have no idea. Okay. So, repeat the question there. The Beatles barber, that's the person that cut the hair of the Beatles, the band. The Beatles barber kept some of John Lennon's hair and sold it at auction. Did it sell for more than 500,000 or less than 500,000? What do we think? Mighty Cat Mods says less. Brian also says less, sorry. And I said more. Okay. Josephine Copley also said more. Okay. Keep track of your points, everybody. You get a point if you get it right. You don't get any points if you get it wrong. And if you play your confident card, then you either get 2 points or you lose 2 points, depending on whether you got it right or wrong. Okay, so let's find out. Less. It sold. Wow. It sold for 35,000.
How much?
35,000. 35,000. I never would have guessed such a small amount. I mean, I know it's only for some hair, but it's John Lennon's hair. Wow. I bet if somebody tried to sell it now, it would go for more than that. Surely it would be more than that. Okay. It does say, though, that this was the third most expensive hair ever sold, just ahead of a lock of Justin Bieber's hair in fourth. I would think it would be ahead of Justin Bieber's hair, honestly. Crikey. Josephine Copley says a snip. Yeah, I say that's cheap for John Lennon's hair. I really do. Yeah. Oh, we haven't got music. Why haven't we got music? I'm just going to set the music looping. I don't know why it's not looping. We'll press loop. There we go. Okay. We have one more question on this card, although we have many, many more cards. But, we'll see. We'll see how long we want to carry on for. Okay. Are there more trees on Earth or stars in the Milky Way? Are there more trees on Earth or stars in the Milky Way? Oh, you can barely hear them. Well, you're not really meant to hear the music very loudly, to be honest. Otherwise, it might drown me and Brian, especially Brian, out. But I've turned it up a little bit. Okay.
I think there's more stars in the Milky Way.
Okay, Brian says more stars in the Milky Way. If it were the galaxy, then obviously I would say the stars, and it would be the stars. I don't know. I've got like a figure in my mind that I could be completely wrong, but I think maybe I heard somewhere that there's like 1 billion stars in the Milky Way, and then 1 billion in the whole universe. Josephine Copley says stars. Did you say stars, Bri? Mm-hmm. You said stars. I think I would go with stars as well. Ed says trees. Hi, Ed. Glad you're back with us. Okay. Keep track of your points. If you get a question right, you get a point. If you get a question wrong, you just don't get a point. If you play your without a doubt card, or if you just say without a doubt, or you just say you're very confident, then you get 2 points right if you get it. You get 2 points if you get it right, but you lose 2 points if you get it wrong. Okay. So, are there more trees on Earth or stars in the Milky Way? I'm going with stars. It's trees. Wow. There are more trees on Earth, that's 3 trillion, than the 100 to 400 billion stars in the Milky Way. So I was at the lower end of that. I said about 1 billion. 1 billion for the Milky Way and 1 billion for the universe. But there's still more trees, more than 1 billion trees. There are 3 trillion trees on Earth. That is amazing. So Ed, you get a point. Nobody else gets a point. Unless there's anybody anybody that's not commenting and not telling us what they think their answers are, but you did guess trees, then you got it right. Okay, so I am on 0 points. Brian is on 2 points. Don't know what everybody else is on. But I think Mighty Cat Mods might still be in the lead. Even more so, in fact. Okay. Ed says, been listening whilst driving. It's proper foggy out there. Yes, it is here too. I was doing 25 miles an hour in a 30 zone while hoping I was on the right side of the road.
God.
Crikey. Well,
Is
I'm
this
glad.
right now?
Not right now, because he said was. Been listening whilst driving. I was doing 25 miles an hour. So I hope that means that you're home safe, Ed. Yeah, that sounds proper dangerous. Right, so the answer to that one was trees. Shall we do one more card, do you think, of these, and then switch to the other game? What do you think, Bri?
Yeah.
So we do
absolutely,
one more card, but that's not one more question because there's quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. There's 5 more questions. So we'll get to the end of this card, and then we'll see who's got the most points at that point. So don't forget to keep track of your points. Okay. So, true or false? In 1982, President Banana, who was the president of Zimbabwe... Oh, Ed says home in one piece, scoffing leftovers. Good, I am glad to hear that. We've been having some leftovers as well, haven't we? And just having like a picky tea with like cheese, brie and crackers and, just whatever we could find in the fridge. I guess everybody's having that kind of stuff at the moment. Sorry, back to the question. True or false? In 1982, President Banana, who is the president of Zimbabwe, passed a law making it illegal to make jokes about his name. I think that's probably true. What do you think, Bri?
I think it's true.
Brian thinks it's true. Okay. Anyone in the chat got an idea of whether they think that's true or not? Did the president of Zimbabwe pass a law making it illegal to make jokes about his name because his name was Banana? I mean, it sounds likely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Zimbabwe, though, I don't know. Mighty Cat Mods says it's true. Ed says it's probably true. Josephine says it's true. Okay, so we're all going with true then. Okay, let's see who's got it right. True, we all get it right. Everyone gets a point. Absolutely everybody. So I've finally got a point. Yay! And Brian's got a point. And everyone else has also got a point. Let's do a point update. How many points has everyone got? You get a point for every question you've got right. So pop in the chat how many points you've got. I'm currently on 1 and Brian is on 3. I think Mighty Cat Mods is in the lead, but I'm not sure exactly how many points they've got. I'm going to have a sip of my non-alcoholic mulled wine. I'm going to have a little bop. Mighty Cat Mods says there was a Reverend Canan Banana. Might have been him. Possibly. So, Josephine says she's got 1 point and Ed says he's got 3. So, Ed and Brian are neck and neck. But I don't know how many Mighty Cat Mods has got, but I feel like it's 4 or 5 at least. Okay. Next question. In what year did interracial marriage become legal throughout the United States? 1867 or 1967? I am reasonably confident that it's 1967. But not confident enough to play a confident card. What do you think, Bri?
I think 1867.
1867. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the question there. And you can type in what you think the answer is. in what year did interracial marriage become legal throughout the United States? 1867 or 1967? Mighty Cat Mods says they're on 5. Can't post more than once a minute because slow mode. Yeah, sorry about that. The reason we have slow mode is because if a troll comes in, if slow mode isn't on, then they can post all sorts of rubbish. And so it just gives us a bit more time to deal with them if any trolls do come in. Josephine Copley says 1867. Ed says 1967. Bri, did you say 1867? 18. And I'm going to go with 1967. I don't think I'm as confident as I was before, actually. I think I'm on the fence. But I do, yeah. Yeah, I still think it's more likely to be 1967, I do. So, I'll just read the question one more time before I tell you the answer. Okay, so in what year did interracial marriage become legal throughout the United States? 1867 or 1967? Let's have a look at the answer. The answer is 1967. When the Supreme Court ruled it legal in all states in the Loving versus Virginia case. So 1967, it really was that late. So that's a point for me, a point for Mighty Cat Mods, and a point for Ed. Okay. So Mighty Cat Mods still very much in the lead. Okay, next question. Which actor has been in more feature films in the last 20 years? Christopher Lee or Michael Caine?
Michael Caine.
Well, I'm not super familiar with either of them, but isn't Christopher Lee from ages ago?
The what?
Isn't Christopher Lee from ages ago?
Yeah. When is it the last 50 years?
20 years.
Oh, definitely Michael Caine.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, unless there's like an AI version of him floating around or something, I don't even think that's possible. Ed is talking about the last question about interracial marriage. He says he thinks it's still frowned upon in some states, but's not sure. But it's legal, so... Yeah, okay, so which actor has been in more feature films in the last 20 years with Christopher Lee or Michael Caine? It's got to be Michael Caine, hasn't it? Are you confident enough to play your confident card, Bri?
No.
No. I'm not, because there could be an AI version of him now, couldn't there? I don't know. Yeah. But I am going to answer Michael Caine. Okay. Let's have a look at the answer. So the question just one more time. Which actor has been in more feature films in the last 20 years? Christopher Lee or Michael Caine? And the answer is Christopher Lee.
What?
With 280 acting credits, achieved the most in the world.
In the last 10 years?
In the last 20 years. 20 years. Michael Caine was in 7th with 161. I'm just reading a comment from Mighty Cat Mods that came in before, which said Michael Caine probably he's moderately younger and still alive. Ed also says Michael Caine. So we've all gone with Michael Caine, but it is in fact Christopher Lee. I don't know how that's possible. I thought Christopher Lee died ages ago.
He did.
How long ago?
Oh, I don't know. 15 years? Maybe.
15 years, you think?
Maybe, I don't know. 10 years, maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know how that could possibly be the answer. And how did he get to 280 acting credits? There must be something about this question we're not understanding. Because the answer... Josephine Copley said, not me. Did you get it right, Josephine? In that case, you get a point and well done. But nobody else did. I don't understand how Christopher Lee can have been in more feature films in the last 20 years if he's dead and has been dead for a while. I think there's something about the question we're not understanding. Anyway, okay, 2 more questions left, and then we'll see who's won. Okay, and then we do have Ed says voice acting. Well, yeah, but you can't voice act if you're dead, unless it's an AI approximation of the voice, and they're counting that. I don't know. Anyway, next question. Right. Globally, how many people eat at McDonald's on an average day? 2.3 million or 68 million? How many people eat at McDonald's on an average day globally? 2.3 million or 68 million? For context, there's about, what is it, it's about 60 million people in the UK, is that right, Bri? Yeah, that's about right.
What are the numbers again?
How many people eat at McDonald's in an average day globally? 2.3 million or 68 million? Ed is guessing 68 million. I'm going to guess 68 million as well. It's got to be a lot, hasn't it? I mean, I know some countries...
I'll guess 68, yeah.
Yeah. What? Well, which... 68 million. So the possibilities are 2.3 million or 68 million. I mean, I just think it's got to be higher than 2.3 million. I would guess 2.3 million for the UK. Whereas this is globally. Okay, so Josephine Copley says 2.3 million. Brian and I are both going with 68, and Mighty Cat Mods is also going with 68 million. Let's have a look at the answer. 68 million, about the same as the UK population. There we go. Yeah, I thought it had to be higher than 2.3 million globally. Yeah, okay. I should have played my confident card, shouldn't I? But I just wasn't quite confident enough. But I did get it right. I got a point. Brian also got a point. Ed got a point, and Mighty Cat Mods got a point. So Mighty Cat Mods is definitely still in the lead. And I think at this point, nobody can overtake them. Okay, so last question for this game. We do have a different game. The next game we're going to be playing is not a trivia thing so much, but it's more like the card gives you an awkward social situation that you find yourself in, and then you have to say what you would do in that situation. So a bit more discussion required really as to, what your answer would be, and there isn't really a way to win the next one. It's just kind of, what interesting answers can you come up with? Okay, so last question for this one, and I am going to turn this music off and put something else on. Okay, that's enough of that one. We will put some Christmas music on. So this is me playing the kazoo, playing Jingle Bells. Okay. Last question. Josephine Copley says, you've never been in a McDonald's. Wow. Well, then you are a rare person. I worked in one. In fact, I worked in more than one, didn't I? Yeah, I worked in a couple of them. And I was already a vegetarian when I started doing that. Total hypocrite. Anyway, last question. True or false? The average brain generates enough electricity that it could power a microwave. I'm gonna play. I've got nothing to lose because I'm not gonna win anyway. I'm gonna play my without a doubt card and say no, false. It is false. What do you think, Bri?
I'll play my without a card and say it's true.
You think it's true? Okay. So I'm very confident that it doesn't. Brian's very confident that it does. Ed says he's had 2 Mackies today. So you're contributing to that 68 million there. Any other answers from the chat? I will read the question again. True or false? The average brain generates enough electricity that it could power a microwave. Mighty Cat Mods says false without a doubt. I think false without a doubt. When you say without a doubt, do you mean that you're... Oh yeah, you do mean that. You're playing your card. Ooh. Well, I don't think you can lose, to be honest, even if you lose 2 points. We're all playing those cards, aren't we? Anyone else? Josephine Copley says true. Mighty Cat Mod says false without a doubt. Do we have an answer from Ed? True or false, the average brain generates enough electricity that it could power a microwave. So Ed says true, but not sure. Okay. Let's find out the answer. And the answer is, it's false. Yay!
Whoa.
Awesome. So I get 2 points, but I still haven't won. Brian loses 2 points. So you're now on 2 points, Bri. I'm on 5 points. I don't know what points everyone else is on, but I am reasonably sure that Mighty Cat Mods has won.
Brilliant.
Especially because they just got 2 points. So yeah, I'm gonna say I haven't seen them confirm that yet, but I'm gonna say it. Mighty Cat Mods is crowned the winner of the quiz, of the without a doubt quiz. Well done, Mighty Cat Mods. We don't have prizes unless you want this invisible cookie. But yeah, you're crowned the king or queen or monarch. I don't know your gender identity, so I'll just say you've won. Right. Okay. Ed says 5 points. So you're neck and neck with me, Ed. Brian has 2. Don't know what Josephine has, and I do know that Mighty Cat Mods has 1. Let me just. I've dropped cards. I just have to get that. Ooh. Right. Josephine Copley is on 0. Oh. Is that because did you play? Oh, you didn't play a card. How did you end? I'm sure you got at least one right somewhere. Anyway, I'm just gonna have a sip of my mulled wine. That is not mulled wine. It's really just grape juice. Mighty Cat Mods is on 9 points and is the winner.
Brilliant.
Thank you all for an entertaining time. Well, hopefully you'll join us for the next one, because that was one of 2 games, but of course you might have something else that you need to do. So this next game is What Would You Do? And the idea is that you're presented with an awkward social situation, and you got to type in what you think you would do in that situation. So there isn't really going to be a winner for this one. It's more just like a fun, thought experiment, I guess. I am going to put... Josephine Copley says, probably. I don't know what that's in relation to. I think it was because we're on a delay, and yeah, I've forgotten whatever I was talking about at the time. Anyway, I'm gonna put a back soon video on just to give us all chance to have a breather. And Ed says he's on Mead with elderflower. Oh, yeah, I saw a picture of that in the Mod Squad group earlier. Ed, sorry, not Med. Mead with elderflower. It's quite nice. Bro got me it yesterday. I do have a real drink here, so I might move on to that next. Right, so yeah, I'm just going to put a back soon video on, and you are going to hear some more of the kazoos, I'm afraid. Just to give everyone a chance to have a break, have a breather, and then I'll come back in about 5 minutes and we'll play the next game. So I hope to see you for the next one, but if not, feel free to get off and enjoy the rest of your time off. If you have any more time off work, have a lovely new year if I don't see you again. But if you want to come back for the next game, then you'll be very welcome to do so. Right, back soon. Is anyone else sick of Jingle Bells yet on the kazoo? I certainly am. We are back online. But you cannot be seen yet, Bri. You can be heard, though. Let me turn off Jingle Bells. Okay, let's listen to Merry Christmas instead. In fact, we wish you a Merry Christmas. It's a little bit loud next to my voice, so I'm going to turn it down a bit. So, I hope you haven't all gone. I hope we've got somebody left still with us. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat, but I'm going to give you... There's a bit of a delay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes just to kind of filter through and tell me whether you're still here or not. We've got some crinkling from Brian's corner, and that's because he's dipping into some sweets. What has he got? What have you got there, Bri?
Sorry?
Rainbow something.
Yep.
What are they? Rainbow... What are they called?
Rainbow drops.
Rainbow drops. I will put the camera on for both of us so that you can see what Brian is tucking into there.
Can you close that door?
You want me to close the door? Okay, just 1 second.
Thank you.
Honestly, he comes through the door, leaves it open, and then asks me to get up and close it. Ah, dear. So, yes, Brian is tucking into Rainbow Drops. I've just had a little bit of brie, as you do. And I think I'm going to get stuck into my Krabbies. So for anyone that's not familiar with Krabbies, it is alcoholic ginger beer. And it's very nice at this time of year. Okay, so this next game is not one that you can win, really. It's just the one that you can sort of talk about and try to come up with some interesting answers. I'm just going to turn Brian down a bit while he's crinkling, because he's having some rainbow drops and they're very loud. Okay. So the game is called What Would You Do? There we go. What would you do? And you get, as an example, you might get a card like this. So if I bring that up to the screen, then hopefully you can read it. So it says, you're speaking to your doctor on the phone about a personal matter, but realise you forgot to mute yourself on your work Zoom call. So I'll read that one out again. You're speaking to your doctor on the phone about a personal matter, but realise you forgot to mute yourself on your work Zoom call. you want me to turn you up a bit now, Brian? Okay, just turning Brian up a bit so you can hear him. So what would you do in that situation, Brian? He's laughing. I don't think he knows what he would do. Oh, you can see him. You know he's laughing. So you're speaking to your doctor on the phone about a personal matter. There's something from Ed here. Ed says he's decided to be relatively civilised and drink mead from a horn instead of chugging it from the bottle. Well, I guess I could do the same. I mean, not a horn, but I could use a glass. I say glass. It's a plastic, really, isn't it? I can't be trusted around real wine glasses. I don't know if it's like a neurodivergent thing or what, but I'm really clumsy, so I have to buy plastic everything. Otherwise, we'll have... You're crinkling again, Brian. Do you want me to turn you down again?
I've finished now.
You've finished. Brian's finished crinkling. Okay. Right, yes. I've taken Ed's lead and put my crappies into a glass. Bit of ASMR for you there. You can just hear it fizzing away. Okay, so the question is, you're speaking to your doctor on the phone about a personal matter, but realise you forgot to mute yourself on your work Zoom call. I guess the only thing you could do really is go, oh, sorry, and mute yourself. I mean, that's all you can do really, isn't it? You can't sort of take back what's been heard.
You say it was a wind-up.
Depends what you said, really. I don't think anyone would buy that, to be honest. I don't think that's a very interesting one. Shall we move on to a different question? But if you come up with something you want to say, then do put it in the chat. Okay. This might be interesting to say in front of Brian because he'll have a different view on it than the rest of us, I think. Okay, so the question is, I'll hold it up to the camera. You accidentally go to the wrong lecture in university, but the professor has started the lesson and you're sat directly in front of them. What would you do? You accidentally go to the wrong lecture in university, but the professor has started the lesson and you're sat directly in front of them.
So is the question, what would you do?
What would you do? Yeah, if you're the student.
I think you would just explain what you've done and walk out, because that has happened.
Yeah.
It's happened more than once.
I guess you could just put your hand up, couldn't you? And you just say, oh, wrong class, and go. And it says professor. The professor would probably go, yeah, that makes sense, because I've never seen that student before. You know, or maybe they have, but they know that the student doesn't belong in that class. That's all you could do, really, isn't it? I mean, you could sit through the whole thing, but then you'd be missing your actual lesson, wherever that is. Ed says he would stay because he wouldn't want to get told off. But you'd still get told off because you didn't turn up to the correct lecture. So I don't think you can get out of being told off. It just would happen later. That's all. You'd just be putting it off until a later date. Ooh, this is quite an interesting one coming up next. Interesting question here from Josephine. Sorry, answer here from Josephine Copley. She says she would get down on hands and knees and crawl out. What would you do, Brian, if a student did that?
It's happened.
A student has crawled out of your lecture?
No, not crawled out. No.
I thought we had a really interesting story there that we were about to hear, but no. Well, I think Josephine wins it for most interesting answer there. I don't think I would do that. Okay, next question. You and your partner decide to go on a health kick, but you find McDonald's wrappers hidden in their car.
Can you read that again?
You and your partner decide to go on a health kick, but you find McDonald's wrappers hidden in their car.
Wow.
See, that couldn't happen for us, from Brian's point of view, because I can't drive the car. So I don't know how if there were McDonald's wrappers in the car and you didn't put them there, then it would be a real mystery. It would be like somebody's broken into our car and put McDonald's wrappers there. Okay. Ed says it'd give me a chance to come up with some BS. That's relating to the last question. So he would come up with an excuse about the lecture that he's missed. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So back to the McDonald's question. I think that is would be quite likely to happen, actually. But from my point of view, like, I would find McDonald's wrappers in the car. Because I have quite frequently come home from work or something when I've been working late and I've come home and there's been McDonald's wrappers in the bin. Hidden. And they're in the bin and he's not wanted to tell me about it. And I definitely think if we went on a health kick that, that could well happen. What would you do then? Folks in the chat, people in my phone. If anyone's just arrived, the question is, you and your partner decide to go on a health kick, but you find McDonald's wrappers hidden in their car. What would you do? I guess I haven't really answered that, have I? I've just said, likely, that's likely. What would I do? Well, I'd make a humorous comment about it and then move on because, you can't control another human being, can you? What would you do in that situation, Bri? I mean, if it were possible, if I did drive.
I don't know, really.
You don't know?
No.
Yeah, I don't think Brian would even mention it. Anybody in the... hang on, I just have to let a comment through that the automatic moderator has tried to stop. Oh, another mod just handled this. I didn't know I had any other mods. I must have made Ed a mod or something. Okay, right, so Josephine Copley says, just shove them down his pants.
Brilliant.
Fair enough. And Ed says, I'd say I was giving a mate a lift. Oh, but that's if you're the culprit. But the question is, your partner is the culprit. So what do you do? Like, do you confront them? What? So you haven't put the McDonald's wrappers there. You just find them hidden in the car. But if you were the culprit, that's a good answer. I think you'd probably get away with that. Having a Crabby's break for a sec. Mm. Oh, that's very nice. Ed says he doesn't think he's a mod on this channel. No, I think if you were, you'd have a spanner after you, wouldn't you? And you'd be in blue. I think that I made Lisa a mod, but I don't think Lisa's here. I haven't heard from Lisa. It might just be me because I pressed it and then I pressed it again because it didn't seem to do anything. So it just said another moderator, but it really meant me. Right. Okay, let's move on to another question. Hey, and we've lost our music. Why can't we hear our music? Let's just put that back on. Oh, this software is it's pretty good, but I haven't quite got used to it all yet. That's me on the kazoo. For anyone that doesn't know. Lisa probably used all her spoons yesterday, Ed says. It's probably true. Probably true. I'm looking for a really interesting question. Hang on a sec. Okay, this is quite a fun one. Let's hold up the card to the screen so you can read it. You call in sick to work to attend a festival. While watching the headline act, you spot your boss in the crowd. Let's read that for a little bit louder for Brian. You call in sick to work to attend a festival. While watching the headline act, you spot your boss in the crowd. What would you do? I don't think I would call in sick to attend a festival. I just don't think, I'm 40 and I just, I'm not that daft anymore. I certainly would have been when I was younger. Yeah. But okay, saying the question is what would you do if you had done that. So, I guess I'd just kind of get down low and get myself out of sight.
Yep.
So that's what that's what you would do, Bri?
Yep.
Yeah. Get down nice and low. Well, you wouldn't want to miss it, would you? But you just get out of his sight. Maybe you could go to a stall and get yourself like a big hat or something so you can hide a bit better. Some kind of disguise, fake nose. Fake moustache, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sure there's some way you could probably disguise yourself, get further away and disguise yourself so they might not spot. But you'd have to think, am I wearing something that they might recognise? Like I wear rainbow laces, so anyone that saw somebody in those might think, oh, is that Holland? I'm sure I'm not the only person that wears rainbow laces, of course. But so Ed says hide. Yeah, same thing. Anybody else got a different answer, or just the same answer? What would anyone else do? Josephine Copley says nothing because I'm wearing face paint. Excellent answer. Okay. Let's find another one. Ooh. I think I've lived through this one at one point. Let me hold up the question so you can read it. Sorry, it's really hard to get it to where it focuses. You're wearing a very detailed costume to a Halloween party. But when you arrive, you see that everyone is just wearing their regular clothes. What would you do? You're wearing a very detailed costume to a Halloween party, but when you arrive, everyone's just wearing their normal clothes. What would you do? No answers yet from the chat, but of course there is a delay. Might be some coming through. I mean, as I say, I lived through that once. I did do that. I don't think it was very detailed though. I was just kind of wearing, I think notionally I was a vampire, so I had some fangs in, but I was also dressed like gothically, so I had like fishnets and stuff on. Because as you know, all vampires wear fishnets. But I guess I didn't really stand out that much, so I just stayed. Got through it. But would I have done if it was a more detailed costume, as it says? I don't know. Josephine Copley says, love it, yay. What is that in response to the fishnets and the vampire teeth? Brian, what would you do? You've turned up to a Halloween costume and you're like Spider-Man or something.
I think I'd run for it.
You'd run for it. Didn't you dress up as Spock once? Oh no, not Spock.
Yeah,
it was Kirk. That was it. It was Kirk. And was everyone else wearing costumes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all right then. Yeah. Probably not quite so nerdy costumes. Not that there's anything wrong with Star Trek, of course. I love Star Trek. Okay. Ed says, you mean I have to interact with people? Well, yeah, that's a good point. What are we doing at a party in the first place? Because I certainly don't go to parties these days. I'm far too much of an introvert. Yeah, and if I stand out in any way, then I'm going to want to run immediately. Yeah, so yeah, I think we'd probably all just, disappear into the woodwork. Would be like that Simpsons meme that you see where Homer is disappearing into the bushes. I moved away from the mic when doing that. He disappears into the bushes backwards. Right. This is quite an interesting one, quite a fun one. Okay, let me hold up the question. Oh, come on. Why can't you... Come on. It just won't focus on it. Let me read it to you. It says, you've told a little white lie to your date, saying that you're a qualified skydiving instructor. Why would you do that?
Brilliant.
The next thing you know, your date is chartering a private plane for an impromptu dive. What would you do? So you've told a little white lie to your date. Oh, hang on. Josephine Copley, this is going back to the last question. Josephine Copley says, it happened to her last summer. She was playing with the ukulele mob and we agreed to dress up. But Josephine was the only one in top hat and tails. But that's just being overdressed. And I don't think there's ever anything wrong with being overdressed. You just look classy and amazing. Top hat and tails, that's not a detailed Halloween costume. That's just looking super classy and elegant. What did you do then, Josephine? Did you stay? I hope you stayed. Let me know in the chat, and I will continue with this question. So you've told a little white lie to your date, saying that you're a qualified skydiving instructor. The next thing you know, your date is chartering a private plane for an impromptu dive. What would you do, Bri?
Oh, I definitely wouldn't go through with
it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would go through with it, would they? Because nobody knows you wouldn't know how to do it. But what would you do? What would you say to your date? How would you get out of it? Josephine Copley says, of course. I can't remember what the question was. I think I said, I hope you stayed. And she's saying, of course. Okay, yes, good. Good. I'm glad you stayed. So how would you get out of it, Bri?
I think I'd just come clean.
You'd have to come clean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I would have told that lie in the first place. I mean, I suppose you'd be trying to make yourself seem more interesting. But I'm so weird that I have lots of things that would interest people. And if all my weird things don't interest people, then I would just say, well, they're not interesting enough. I don't know why I would tell them that. But yeah, that would be a terrifying situation, wouldn't it? Ed says, I would ghost them. Bold of you to assume I'm an extrovert. When did I assume that? I don't remember assuming that. Oops. Ed would ghost them. I guess that's one way to deal with it, isn't it? So for anyone wondering what ghosting means, it means that you just sort of disappear out of their life and you just don't contact them ever again. I'm not going to read that one. I want to find a more interesting one. Okay, this one made me laugh, so I'm going to read it. You're waiting for your Uber, that's your taxi, after a late night. When they arrive, you get in the car and discover it's your secondary school head teacher. What would you do? I guess that means driving the car. So your taxi driver is your secondary school head teacher. What would you do? I suppose it depends what sort of a relationship you had with your secondary school head teacher, whether you hated them or liked them or what. What about you, Bri?
Don't know.
Let's have a think. I don't even know if I would remember who my head teacher was in high school. I would probably recognise them but not know where they were from. So the answer is nothing, because I'd just be thinking, who are you? I know you, but I don't know where from. Ed says, sorry, the question and the mead has topped up from yesterday. Okay. Bold of you to assume I was an extrovert with something to do with the question. I think this is because of the delay, and it probably made sense when I was saying whatever I was saying. Anyway, yeah. So you're waiting for your taxi after a late night, and when they arrive, it's your secondary school head teacher. So Brian has no idea what he would do. So, Brian, I mean, what did you have a good relationship with your secondary school head teacher?
No, none of them.
None of them?
No.
Did you get hauled into the teacher's office a lot? Yes. Anybody else? Josephine Copley says, mine is long dead by about 50 years. So that would be a scary taxi ride then, if it was being driven by a ghost. Yeah. Don't know what else to say to that, really. I'm just trying to find it as another interesting card. Okay. I feel like we've had enough of this particular piece of music. Back to the jazz. Okay. Oh, this is a really sad one. You're cast in the biggest blockbuster movie of the year, but find out on opening night that all of your scenes have been cut. Brian's not even listening. He's just looking at his phone. I don't think he's even on YouTube.
What's that?
I'm just saying, I don't think you're paying any attention.
I'm looking at the answers.
Are you?
Looking at the YouTube, yeah.
Oh, Ed says, I never met my secondary school headmaster, so wouldn't know. I guess that means you were never in trouble, Ed. So, you know, yeah. I guess you didn't have a lot of fun. You must have knuckled down and just got the work done. I did okay in high school, but it was the point at which my grades went down a bit. Because I was really good in like primary and junior school. Like, because I think until that point it was all based on effort. And if you could read well, which I could, then you did really well. But then when you get to secondary school, they start giving you homework, and I wasn't very organised and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I did get into a bit of trouble in high school, but not loads. I was probably being late was the worst thing. Ed says he was clever enough not to get caught. Well done, Ed. Well played. Right, so yeah, back to the question. You are cast in the biggest blockbuster movie of the year, but find out on opening night that all of your scenes have been cut.
Oh.
That's so sad. That's so sad. I mean, I think I would just I would be a bit dramatic. I think I would flounce out.
Yeah, me too.
And then I'd probably regret it afterwards, but, you know, it would be too late. I would be really, really annoyed at whoever's decision it was, I guess the director, for not telling me before that point. But yeah, that's it really. What would everyone else do? Answers on a postcard or in the chat. Ah, dear. Ed says he would be annoyed and he would slink off in a huff. Yep, you and me both, Ed. I think anyone would be. I mean, that's quite a big insult, isn't it? Joe says that's unimaginably cruel. Guess it happens. Depends how big the part is as well as to how annoyed you would be, but even if you were just an extra and like your arm was in it, you'd be annoyed if your arm was going to be in it and then it wasn't. Didn't your arm get in something, Brian?
Sorry?
Didn't you have your arm in a blockbuster movie once?
Oh, yeah.
Which one?
Octopussy.
Octopussy. Brian's arm was in Octopussy. I guess that's where I got it from when I was talking about your arm being in a film. And how would you feel if you found out on opening night that your arm was not, in fact, in Octopussy?
I think I'd be fine with it, actually.
You'd be fine with it, yeah. Well, it's only an arm. I don't think you've ever told me how come your arm was in it.
Because I was in the band.
Speak up a bit.
I was in the band.
Yeah.
In the circus tent where James Bond defuses a bomb.
In the band, so what were you playing? Trombone. You were playing trombone,
yeah.
Right?
And there's a passing shot of the band.
Right.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oops. Okay, next question. You boast on your CV.
Sorry?
You boast on your CV that you can speak multiple languages. And on your first day in your new job, you're asked to translate for a very important client meeting. Brian's crinkling. I think there was a sketch about that, wasn't there, in the IT Crowd? Was it the IT Crowd, Bri?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's just like pretending. I think she tries to get somebody in her earpiece to help her who actually speaks the language, but then it gets cut off, so she just starts making it up.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. I think I would just pull up an app on my phone that would auto-translate, and then I would, it probably wouldn't translate very well into English, so I just kind of make it flow better. But the question is, like, how would you stop? I guess how would you stop anyone from seeing what you were doing? Maybe you'd hide it in a book or something, and you'd say, "Oh, it's my translation dictionary. Just need to check a few words," and you just hide the phone in there with the app. It's amazing what apps can do these days. I do have a translation app on my phone. I need it at work sometimes. And there's also an app for just transcription, because sometimes there's people who can't hear or who can't speak or whatever. So it's useful for times like that. You can just transcribe what you're saying and show it on the phone to the other person. And they're remarkably accurate these days. Josephine Copley says she would throw herself out of the window. What? If she found herself in this meeting having to translate. That's extreme, but okay, that is one way of dealing with it. Did you tell us what you would do, Brian?
If I was in that position, I just would run for it. You
would just run for it?
Yep, that's my usual answer to anything.
So that would be the end of your job there then?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at the next question. And it's really weird. Anyway, no, but I've got a different question in front of me. Okay, I'll do the really weird one. All right. You come home to find a unicorn in your kitchen.
Find a what?
A unicorn.
Oh, great, yeah.
What would you do?
Stop taking the drugs, I think.
I was going to say sell it on eBay. You could probably make a pretty penny. But then again, I don't know. If you sold it on eBay and somebody bought it, you'd have to ask yourself what they were going to do with the unicorn. You know? Are they going to butcher it? Or, you know, grind up its horn for the magic or whatever? So, I don't know. Maybe I'd keep it as a pet. Be quite fun. The only person in the world, presumably, to have a unicorn as a pet. I don't think you'd really own it, but you know, coexist with it. But yeah, Brian's answer, stop taking the drugs, is probably a better answer, I think. Has anyone else got an answer? What would you do if you come home to find a unicorn in your kitchen? No answers. Nobody knows what they would do. Unless there's some answers on the way. Ed says, magic. Yeah. Brian's disappeared. Fair enough. Okay. I think I'm just going to do a few more, and then we'll call it a night. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, it's 1:15. Should we aim to finish by past? So we'll just do a few more. Okay. Okay, so you buy your dream house, only to find it is haunted by the ghosts of its previous owners. What would you do? So you buy your dream house, only to find it's haunted by the ghosts of its previous owners. How did they sell you the house? They can't be its previous owners because the house would be left to their estate, so that like their next of kin, so they would be the previous owners. Anyway, yeah, it's haunted by the ghosts, unless, you know, it doesn't mean literally the ones that owned it right before you. Anyway, it's haunted by the ghosts of its previous owners. Josephine Copley says, remind myself not to leave the door open. I guess that is in relation to the unicorn question and not the ghost question. But that is a good answer. Yes, you do have to ask yourself how the unicorn got in there. You know, and if the unicorn can get in, then who else can? Ed says he would communicate with the ghosts. I actually think that my mind was starting to go there as well. I think that I would try to make friends with the ghosts. I mean, why not? It would be really, really interesting to have a ghost as a friend. You know, how many other people can say they've made friends with the ghost? And how many would be believed if they did say that? Yeah, I'd try to make friends, try to contact them. Maybe get out on a Ouija board. Don't think it'd work though. I mean, it was not designed as... it wasn't designed for that purpose, was it? The Ouija board. It was more... it was a board game. It was designed to be sold to children. It's only Hollywood that turned it into something scary. Maybe I would contact a medium, you know, find one, a reputable medium, to try to communicate with the ghosties. And yeah, try to find out their stories. What was their life like? Maybe they can, you know, give you some tips about the house. You know. tell you some history about it. Okay. That's the only answer we've got is from Ed. Brian isn't here right now. Oh, hang on. Josephine Copley says, hang on, she would capitalise on it and put the story online. That's a very good way to go. That would be very interesting, wouldn't it? It'd be like the film series of Paranormal Activity. You could probably make a lot of money. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Okay. It's nearly 20 past. Your friend asks you to read their novel, so you read it. But when you read it, you notice that the villain has striking similarities to you. What would you do? So your friend asks you to read their novel, but when you read it, you notice the villain has striking similarities to you. What would you do? Well, I would be aware, as someone who has done a bit of writing myself, I would be aware that any character that anybody creates is never based wholly and entirely on one person. They're all composites of various people they've known and even characters they've seen on TV and stuff. So I don't think I would take that too personally. Besides, I think it's more fun to be a villain. It'd be more fun to be a villain than to be the hero of the story. The villains always get, more of an interesting storyline, I think. Ed would ask about it in a subtle way. I do have a friend who writes, who's an author. She's published a couple of books so far, working on more. And one of her books was a compendium of short stories, and one of them was based on the place where I worked with her at one point. And there were some people in the story that I recognised. But I was not one of them. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, where am I? Where am I in this story? I worked there with you. I know that place. You're describing it exactly. But I'm not in it. And yet other people that we knew are in it. Where am I? Josephine Copley said, would she let me read it in the first place? Like, if she'd cast you as a villain, would she really do that? It's a good question. Maybe she wanted you to know what she thought of you. Or maybe she thought you'd be flattered. I don't know. Or maybe she was, I don't know, maybe she's trying to tell you something. But yeah, I wouldn't do anything. Nothing to do really in that situation, is there? Other than, as Ed said, you could ask in a subtle way. What are your influences for your characters? Okay. That's gross. Question about clogging somebody's toilet and no plunger being in sight. Yeah. No. Yeah. Ooh, this is a good one. Okay, this is a good one. It's a shame Brian's not here for this one. Should we pick a different song? My friend is writing a very naughty book. We'll wait to see if I'm in it. You have some interesting friends, Joe. I'm wondering if I know this person, but probably not. because the person I'm thinking of, I don't think that they write very naughty books. I think that they just write slightly naughty books. Okay. Okay. So this question is: you're due to appear on a game show, but you use the wrong door in the studio, and you're mistaken for a contestant on a national talent show. You've had no time to prepare your act, and you're about to go on stage. Okay, so you're supposed to be going on a game show, but you've gone through the wrong door, and now you're going out on stage to be a contestant on a national talent show, and you've not prepared. What would you do? That's kind of terrifying, isn't it? I think there was a bit in Buffy, somebody's dream in Buffy that was a little bit like that. She came out and she hadn't prepared, and she just kind of went, ah! Because she was trying to sing. Anyway, I don't think that could really happen to me, because I would just sing something, I guess. I'm sure there'd be something that I could remember. I obviously wouldn't have any accompaniment. And I think probably Josephine would say the same thing, because she also sings. Ed would nope right out of there. If it was Brian, and he will come back soon and probably tell us, all he would need is a piano. So long as there was a piano there, he'd be absolutely fine. He could just go out there. Brian is the kind of person, the talent that he has is just amazing on a piano. So he can just go up to it and just think of any piece of music, and if he can hear it in his head, then he can play it. Or if you could play something to him that he's never heard before, and he would just play it straight away on the piano. It's astonishing. So while it might freak him out, it would definitely freak him out, he would be able to come up with something. He'd be able to blag something. And I would just sing something, and Joe would sing something. Ed would note right out of there, and I think that's all. Yeah, we have only 4 people, so that's all of us. Yep. But yeah, it is a pretty terrifying situation, even if you do have a talent that you could show. Okay. It's quite a fun one. I don't know if Brian's going to come back in time for us to finish, because we've got 5 minutes. Okay. So this question is, it's your partner's birthday and you've forgotten to buy them a gift. Oh, do we have a question? Joe says, regarding the last one, that's a real nightmare. That's the talent one. It's a real nightmare. It happened to Joe in a dream once. Andre Previn was conducting. I have an idea who that is, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it is a nightmare situation. Anyway, it's your partner's birthday and you've forgotten to buy them a gift. You have 5 minutes and the contents of your bag to improvise something. I guess I better get my bag and have a look and see what's in it. Where have I put it? I have no idea where my bag is. Just a sec. Brian's back. I'm going to ask him the last few. But first I have to find my bag. We're going to be finishing.
So, what's the latest question then?
The current question, I'm going to ask you the last few as well. So the current question is, it's your partner's birthday and you've forgotten to buy them a gift. You have 5 minutes and the contents of your bag to improvise something.
Contents of your
bag.
Okay.
To improvise something. In your case, the contents of your man bag. Okay. Contents of my bag. My passport. Some strepsils. Some paracetamols. A lipstick. Various keys. And I've got some hand sanitizer. And I've got a couple of books which were withdrawn from a library.
Sorry.
Did you do that, Brian?
Yeah, it's all right.
Brian knocked something over. I've got a couple of books which were withdrawn from the library. Lots of banging going on there from Brian. I guess all I can really do would be to wrap these up. Maybe try and remove the stickers that show that they belong to a library once. That would be quite difficult. Just to show you, just so you believe me, it does say withdrawn. There you go. Yeah. That's all I could do, really. I just hope that they were interested in them. Yeah. Josephine Copley said, shall we look in our bags? Yes, please do look in your bags. See what you can come up with. In the meantime, I will ask Brian the previous questions.
You got a bell behind you.
Do I?
On the scratching post.
Oh, she's so cute. Let me turn it round. There you go. You just see Belle. She loves that scratching post. Let's turn it so you can see the tree a little bit. There you go.
Oh, she's interested in what you're doing.
Oh. Okay.
Right, what was the question?
Okay, the last one was... You're due to appear on a game show, but use the wrong door in the studio and are mistaken for a contestant on a national talent show. You've had no time to prepare your act and you're about to go on stage. What would you do?
I mean, that's crazy.
It is crazy, but if anyone could do it, it would be you, Brian.
I don't know, I'd just find the nearest piano and just try and bullshit my way out of it.
What did I say?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've turned this camera too far and I now can't get to my mic. There we go. Yeah, so long as Brian could find a piano, he'd be fine. I mean, you'd be bricking it, but you'd manage.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed says, does a shopping bag count? Which is washing powder and green Rizzlers. Yeah. Bit of a weird present. But so is mine. Josephine...
What was that? Washing powder and some Rizzlers?
Yeah.
There's some interesting roll-ups there.
Yeah. Josephine Copley says, some wet wipes, a tape measure, key ring, and something she won't tell us.
Wow, I don't think she has to tell us. I think that's a bit weird to start with, to be honest with you. Some wet wipes and what?
A tape measure, a key ring, and something she won't tell us about.
Handcuffs. That's what it'll be. Come on, Joe.
Okay, another question that we read while you're away was, your friend asks you to read their novel, but when you read it, you notice the villain has striking similarities to you. What would you do?
I think I'd be actually really pleased.
Brian would be pleased.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And you buy your dream house only to find out it's haunted by the ghosts of its previous owners.
Again, brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What you mean, you would try to talk to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try and make friends. That's what some of us said. And I think you were there for the unicorn question, weren't you?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, you were. He was there for the unicorn question. Okay. Awesome. I think we've done as many questions as we need to, really. Ed asks if Josephine's mystery item is battery powered.
Well, hey.
Or are keys required? Well, She's not telling us.
Is it battery powered?
You never know.
Also, sorry.
Ask yourself, is this appropriate, Brian?
Is it battery powered, and would it fit into a pencil case?
Okay, this is a weird note we're ending on. Should we ask one more question just to get away from this weird
I'm never
note?
going to get invited back, am I?
Actually, you never answered the one about the it's your partner's birthday and you've forgotten to buy them a gift.
Oh, I'd just say
you have to improvise.
I enjoy the manuscript paper and pens.
Is that what would be in your man bag?
Yeah.
That would be in your man bag, yeah. Well, it would don't. Yeah.
And Nicorette.
It would only work. I mean, I guess, it says your partner, and obviously that's me. But what if your partner was non-musical?
Was what?
What if your partner was non-musical?
I'd say enjoy the Nicorette.
That's all it could really be, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Josephine Copley answers regarding whether it needs batteries. No, it's manually operated. And Ed says, ooh, kinky.
Yeah, that doesn't get us anywhere, really.
Okay.
The plot thins.
Let's see if we can find one really fun question to finish on. Ooh. Okay. I don't know if this is better than the note we were going to end on. Okay. When delivering a business presentation, your entire search history is somehow displayed instead of your slideshow. Ed's asking if Josephine's mystery item is a whip of some description. Please stop. Please stop,
No,
Ed.
it's handcuffs. It's definitely handcuffs.
Okay, your entire search history is displayed instead of your slideshow in your business presentation. What would you do?
It's probably going to be really boring stuff like film music. So.
What, really?
Yeah.
Seriously, though?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I guess your name is on the screen for everyone to see, so yeah, you can't really tell us anything else. Can't really tell us about those DVDs that used to say, what did they say? History documentaries on them. You can't really tell us about those. Anyone else in the chat? What would you do? You're delivering a business presentation. Your entire search history is displayed instead of your slideshow. What would you do? Mine would just be a bunch of... It would be weird stuff. I mean, not kinky. It would just be like random questions that have occurred to me at 3 a.m. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why does the sun look red when it's near the horizon, or something like that,
How do we know we really exist?
Yeah. How many colours can cats see? Stuff like that. Ed says he would run away as fast as his little legs would carry me. Yeah, that's okay. So I guess Ed's entire search history is perhaps not as wholesome as some people's might be. Anyone else? Josephine Copley, what would you do if your entire search history was displayed instead of your slideshow? I think in Josephine's case, that could happen. If it was going to happen to any of us, it would probably be Joe, wouldn't it? The thing that is supposed to appear on the screen would not. But she's being very quiet, not only about her mystery item, but also about what she would do with her business presentation. But yeah, Ed says he has more questions for Josephine, but Holland's told me to stop. Well, okay, I tell you what. I am going to switch to the thanks for being here screen, which is just going to be kazoos playing Christmas music. Nope. Is this... Josephine Copley says, is this potentially embarrassing? Are we talking about the search history question? Because it would be for some people.
I think you ought to send them all that picture.
What picture?
From earlier when you were preparing for the gig. And then Belle photobombed with her bum. You just got to send that.
I don't know how to bring that up on the screen. The
look on your face is unbelievable. It's priceless.
Yeah, I can send you away with that. So I don't know how many of you saw the little video that I made earlier when I was telling people about this, and I was saying, hope you've had a lovely Christmas, and this is your invitation to, and I was telling you about tonight. But anyway, while I was, just after I was finished recording that, Belle came to join me. And that was the picture I got. Tried to get one with her face, but got her arse instead. So there you go. That's what we're going to end on. Belle's arse. Have a lovely rest of your Boxing Day and the rest of any time that you may or may not have off over the Christmas holidays. I'm not going back until the 6th. When are you going back, Bri?
To work?
Yeah.
Not for 2 weeks.
Not for 2 weeks. That's longer than me then.
A week and a half.
Week and a half. Okay, yeah. We tend to get a fair bit of time here in the UK. I'm saying that as if any Americans are watching. There's hardly any of us, and we're all from the UK. Anyway, but somebody might watch back later and wonder why we have all that time. It's because we're very lucky here in the UK. If I don't see you or speak to you before, then have a lovely New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and hope to catch up with you soon. So thank you for being here with me tonight. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that some people showed up, because I was a bit worried that it was just going to be me and Brian. Have a great New Year, and thanks for being here. Should old acquaintance be forgot?